We're here at the Cannabis World Congress Business Expo, and we have found CANNALOGIX. Now, what does this mean? We're going to find out a little bit more. There are people behind this, and the people that I'm here with today are Kay and James. And Kay has an incredible story, a story of illness and a story of healing. And it all has to do with our beautiful plant, cannabis. So Kay, welcome, and thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. Tell us what's going on. Where were you in your medical situation prior to cannabis? What brought you to cannabis, and what happened, obviously, afterward?
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited. It's been quite a journey. I've been sick most of my life, but I didn't really know what was wrong. I grew up in a conservative household, so it was never a conversation I was ever a part of. Cannabis, all I knew was the education was under the DARE program, and that was it. So
Just say no.
yeah, just say no to drugs. I had no idea about anything else. And my health hit a point. I have a rare genetic condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It affects 5% of the United States population. 1% are disabled by it completely. So it's a pretty terrible disease. It causes all kinds of problems: joint dislocation, organ rupture, GI issues, early death, osteoarthritis, arthritis, basically early aging in the whole body process. The other one I have is intracranial hypertension, which is I make too much spinal fluid, and it basically feels like sticking a high pressure water hose in the back of my skull and turning it on. It causes blindness, deafness, problems walking, problems with speech. It's basically like having a brain tumor symptoms with no tumor. The only treatment is 2 medications, Diamox and Lasix, which are harmful to the kidneys and cause really horrible problems, and brain surgery, where they implant either a lumbar shunt or a VP shunt, which goes in the brain. Which is dangerous. It's brain surgery. And they tell you when you get diagnosed with it that the first surgery, you're shaking hands with brain surgery for the rest of your life. So it's scary. So I hit a point that everything was kind of colliding all at once. I was up at Johns Hopkins. I've been to UCLA. I've seen some of the best doctors in the country, and they all said, you need to accept where you're at. There's not a whole lot more we can do. Why don't you go back to the West Coast? They have cannabis. Give it a try. And I laughed at them, and I was like, well, what is that supposed to do for me? What kind of hope is that? Because I didn't know anything about it. So I came back home, got a card, tried to navigate the system, found it really complicated and difficult to get a straight answer or understand what was going on, misinformation a lot. I just didn't know. So I gave up on that. I was like, whatever. If I had it, it helped my nausea just a little bit, but I didn't understand the healing properties of it yet. Fast forward, I had 4 brain surgeries in 36 days in 2013. Ended up with a staph infection, and the shunt was breaking. It was a whole bunch of problems. So I hit the end. I gave up on treatment. I said, don't touch me anymore. I just don't want to do this. And they sent me home, and I had a DNR in place, and I just was done. I was having seizures. I couldn't do it anymore. My fight was gone. And I was trying to sell the computer on Craigslist and just pay for rent because I didn't have money. I'd been broke from being sick for so long. And someone reached out, and we started talking about health, and the computer never actually got bought, which whatever. But he talked about this oil, and I was like, dude, whatever. Like, you're selling me snake oil. I don't even want to hear it. Like, I'm done. I've seen the best. You don't know anything. And he was persistent, and I'm glad he was. I tried it, but the deal was that I had to rip up my DNR, and the only goal at this point was to make me sleep just a little bit better through the evening and give me a little bit more pain relief just in the end. What ended up happening was I started rapidly getting better. I'd wake up every morning and my hand worked a little better. I could pick up a fork. I could pick up the phone. Having a conversation was tolerable. I could walk a little further every day. And so I started to push myself just a little more every day to try to work through it. Just still not sure what was doing it, but faithful that, okay, something's working, so let's keep going. The seizures eventually went away. I'm now 1.5 years seizure free now.
Wow, this is an incredible story.
Yeah. 22 meds I got off. I lost 80 pounds. I am getting off social services. I got off food stamps. I just got my first place. I'm on my own completely, no caregiver, no anything. I'm working full time for the first time in this entire experience. I'm literally, it's like being 18, graduating high school, and you have the world at your feet. I'm like there now at 26. And I've been working with CANNALOGIX for a while because of how much they've done for me.
So wow, this story, there's so much to it, and I'd love to bring you on. We have a show, Nurse Talk, and I'd
Oh,
love to have
wow.
Nurse Julesy here to also interview you. This story is very, very compelling. But you were leading into CANNALOGIX, and I want to know more, and our viewers want to know more. Tell me about it, who's involved, and why you got involved, and what you're doing now. What is it all about?
CANNALOGIX Foundation is a nonprofit, volunteer run. It's for patients, by patients. We're all patients ourselves and all require cannabis to function. And in navigating the system as it's changing today, there's a lot of problems. Cannabis is a human rights issue and affects all paths of life. And whether you see it or not, it's the truth. So CANNALOGIX has been a bridge and an access point for patients for quite a while now. Some of our founders were the original Oregon medical marijuana program. They started the program. They are the people that have given life to Oregon, essentially. So CANNALOGIX, what we do is we work with pushing responsible legislative change, helping get medical laws passed, working with growers and caregivers and patients on education, getting problems sorted out. We do compliance within our own industry to create a different bar, a higher bar to
Standards
yes,
high,
exactly,
right?
exactly. And in the end, it comes down to it's getting the best quality medication for the patient, but also removing the barriers that inhibits that patient from living the life that they're intended to live. Our bottom line from day one has been is patients, patient wellness. That's it.